welcome to Toya, Who the Fuck Are You? Where I will discuss and explore my journey in understanding truly who the fuck I really am and where do I want to be. I'm your host, Toya, and I'm ready to get started. I've spent several sessions with you all as we look back at the layers of just self-discovery and what it looks like and what it feels like. And today there's another topic that's very special to me that I would like to share with you. And today's topic is going to be the anatomy of peace and misconceptions around therapy. So one thing I want to highlight is mental peace. It is, and this is my point of view, it is a state of inner calmness, tranquility, where you just allow your mind to be free from any conflict, worries, and negative emotions. I think sometimes we don't realize how much we take on mentally, and how it just impacts our physical, our emotional, just everything. It's like finding, with mental peace, it's like finding a serene oasis within yourself and, doing so amidst the chaos of life. Achieving mental peace often involves practices like mindfulness, meditation, self-reflection, and nurturing positive thoughts. It's also about making tough decisions and avoiding the things, the people that may sometimes bring those negative thoughts. It's not about eliminating stress or challenges entirely, but rather developing the resilience and inner strength to navigate them with a sense of, clarity. Mental peace enables you to also be present, focused, and content, again, even in the midst of life's ups and downs. So again, as I always say, I can only speak on my experience as I am an expert on my life. So for me, I found myself looking for a safe space, to talk and to just let everything out. I always say that, I need a big sister to the big sister, and I wanted to be selfish at this time because I was just going through things and just didn't know how to convey, right, what was going on. I was happy, I was blessed, and I was very thankful, but there was just not that clarity and that peace that I so desire. And so I didn't want to, as I was looking for something or someone to speak to, I didn't want to have to reciprocate that, I wanted to be very selfish, meaning that, if I talked to friends and family, I didn't want to feel obligated, to have to, feel like I needed to talk, listen to them as well when they were going through their things. I wanted to truly unload my thoughts and walk away from, the conversation I wanted to have free from guilt, shame, or again, like I said, the obligation to have to listen to someone else. So in that period, what I did was I said, you know what, I want to go to therapy. I knew quite a few people who were in therapy and they talked about their experience. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to find a therapist that I can speak with. I wanted to make sure that it was something that would fit in my schedule. I wanted it to just be a one-time thing where I just go unload, work on whatever I needed to work on, and then just go on about my business and live a life that, I'd be happy. So I also wanted my therapist to look like me, be able to relate, to some of the things that I was going through. But one thing, it's funny, as I found my therapist, there was a time where we also had to get to know each other. And, again, I realized therapy is not just sitting on the couch and just letting all your feelings out and, your therapist on a clipboard. It was I liked the style. It was very easy. It was very free. We were able to do a virtual session, first session consultation. She asked questions. And one of the things she asked was, if we were to see each other in public, how do you want to interact? And even though that's a simple question, I thought, wow, you're very respectful of my privacy. And even though I really didn't care, like, you're my therapist, I know you, hey, hi, good and gravy. I just thought that was very considerate And so a couple of sessions went, and I realized there was more than just talking. There was kind of a discovery in myself in, okay, what is truly preventing peace, mental peace in me? And, as I was starting to explore, because remember, I thought I was just going to therapy to have one-time conversation about a topic and move on. And I realized I need to start holding myself accountable. And if I can't hold myself accountable, how can I hold other people accountable? And how will other people hold themselves accountable with me if I don't even hold myself accountable? And so anyway, we started our first sessions, and it was just easy and it was really good. Now, as we started to advance throughout and progress through our session, I noticed I had homework I had to do. And I was like, what do you mean I got to do homework? I need to read this, this chapter, or I need to read this book, or I need to look at. It was just very interesting. And I was like, I don't want to do it. I just want to talk. But then I found myself reading the scriptures. I also found myself, listening to the videos that she suggested. I even read a book that she even suggested. And it started to open my eyes to a whole new world. And there is work that I needed to do within myself. It wasn't as easy as just speaking. There was work that needed to be done. The other thing I also realized is that as I was navigating through therapy, that I didn't know how to communicate my emotions. So the conflicts that I was having and that I was experiencing were self-inflicted, with my friends, at the time, my husband. I didn't know how to express my emotions properly. So, if I was tired and let's say my husband, my friend, or my family wanted to go somewhere and I didn't want to go, instead of saying I don't want to go, I would just be like, pick a fight. So guess what? Now we don't have to go, but we're both upset with each other. We're like pissed. If I was tired and I, didn't want to say that I was tired, if I was scared, I think this was the biggest one for me. When I was scared, I didn't know how to say, I am afraid. I don't know the answer. And do so without feeling ashamed. And so I think that was probably one of the biggest aha moment for me, was understanding what I was feeling emotionally and how to express it, how to communicate it in a healthy manner where I deliver my message to the point where you receive it. Now, what you do with that message, that's your business, right? But I have effectively communicated to you how I felt and how I feel. And that to me was the biggest wake-up call. The other thing, because it put in perspective why I was having these conflicts all the time. Because, I thought I was a very peaceful person, but I wasn't acting in a manner as such. And it was because I didn't know how to express my emotions. So going to therapy helped. Now, mind you, I'm like 4 sessions in when it was supposed to be a 1 session therapy session. And we started kind of navigating to a more spiritual space that I didn't even realize I needed filled. Background, I'm a Catholic, went to Catholic school, First Communion, all that, even got reconfirmed in college, straight away, came back to it. And, but I'm not one that, imposes my spirituality, my religion on you. That is your business, right? If I have friends who are atheists, love them. I don't judge, right? I try not to judge. I might judge, their food choices, but I would never judge, what they picked or didn't pick as a religion. But we started venturing more towards spirituality and reading, scriptures. And this little Catholic girl who knows nothing about, scriptures. I mean, I know them, but not to the point where it's like I can tell you. It was very refreshing. And I started to feel like there was another part of me that was being fed. And, as I started to tell people I'm in therapy and I wear that like a badge of honor. I started to see the looks, right? Like, oh, are you kind of going through something? Are you a little crazy? And I thought about, there are a lot of misconceptions about therapy, where people feel that it's a little more, I guess, it's a little more than what it really is. It's helpful. It's enlightening. It's therapeutic. It is, there's just so much to it. So one thing, speaking with my therapist and telling her about this podcast and this session, one of the things she wanted me to relay to you all, and of course it would not be her without, starting with the scripture, Psalms 34:14b, seek peace and pursue it. And that's very important. She said, you can meditate, you can do yoga, you can do all the things. However, true lasting peace can be found in God. There is simply no way around that. Our way to God is through Jesus and Him alone. Allow Him to lead you in your therapeutic journey and in finding the best therapist for you. So I would agree with her. When you look for your therapist, make sure you take that very seriously, okay? And you don't have to have a faith-based therapy or therapist. Find what works for you. But when you look for your therapist, please make sure you check their credentials and their specialties. Again, see if they have the experience or the expertise in what you would like to focus on. For me, I wanted someone to talk to. And when I started talking about the things that were bothering me, I realized I had an issue with accountability. Ask for consultation to see if you get a good feeling about working with him or her. Most therapists will provide a quick 15-minute consultation. And just see, is this someone I feel comfortable with? Ask about their approach to therapy. What are their modalities? Cognitive, experimental, art therapy. Do they use, and what's their style? Is it direct? Is it warm? Is it humorous? Maybe it's a mixture of all. With my sessions, sometimes we have a moment where I'm just crying. She's like, let it out. We don't even say hi to each other. It's just, just cry. And then sometimes we're laughing, and then sometimes she's like, okay, now we need to have a crucial conversation. Make sure you as the client, and this is going to be very, very important, you feel ready for therapy. You have to be open. It is going to be very hard to work within and without taking an honest look at yourself. It does require bravery, as well as you will have moments of being vulnerable. So you have to be okay with that. And I think for me, that was the biggest thing of letting my wall down, because I want to be the know-it-all, the, come save everyone. And, I had to be vulnerable. Just no way around it. Have time to commit to it. That's also important. And I do want to talk about this because, again, I started with one session and I thought one session was enough. I am a year and a half into that one session. I love it. It's so therapeutic. I really do. I know others who also go to therapy. And that's the thing. You can tell when someone has or is going to therapy. You can tell the difference in a therapized person. And I don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to go with it. But you have to make time. You have to be committed to it. One of my good friends that I know, she and her husband, they work from home. And she said, this is my thing. And so she actually gets in the car, drives out of the driveway and park not far from the house, but she parks and she has her session. And so, you have to commit to it. You have to figure out what works for your schedule. Do it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, but you have to make sure that you're able to stay on course. You're willing to put in the time, for introspection and heal away from therapy. While a 45, 60-minute session with your therapist is often fruitful, healing work has to be done in between the sessions with your therapist. You want to keep an open posture to the necessary work and changes you'll need to make to grow into a healthier version of yourself. Those changes could range from letting go of harmful relationships. And let me tell you, that was a tough one. You don't realize sometimes the things that you become so accustomed to, and not always, but sometimes it may not be serving you, right? And so understanding when it's time to let go. And sometimes that is the hardest thing to do, especially when you think, oh, this person has been with me for the longest. You have to put yourself first. If this person isn't feeding you, feeding your soul, bringing you peace, then what good are they besides just having a history with you? Sometimes that's not enough. I think one of the things that she and I spoke about, which really was I don't know, it just was very pivotal for me in my therapy session, was sometimes you have to meet people where they are and also leave them where they are. Not everyone is supposed to grow with you. Okay? So just something that I always like to keep in my front back pocket. But yeah, letting go of those harmful relationships. Also establishing boundaries in others to break bad habits so you can, start utilizing a set of healthy coping skills. Again, I didn't know how to convey my emotions properly or healthy. So she was able to help with that. Don't expect your therapist to solve your problems or tell you exactly how to handle them. While they can offer you professional and spiritual insights, you have to work with your therapist to identify solutions you feel work best for you. And that's very important. And so, again, I know, especially in certain communities, therapy is often joked about. It's also, ostracized or looked at differently. But I will tell you, it is very helpful. It is a wonderful tool. It allows you to work on yourself, but also work on what matters to you. One thing I want to say as we kind of wrap up this session is that peace is very sacred. It is precious and it is valuable. It looks different and it feels different to each of us. So what to me is peaceful may be completely something different for you, right? Your peace, your serene oasis may be completely different. But it's so worth pursuing. So please find your peace and embrace it. Put in the work to preserve it because you deserve it. And I promise you, I did not mean to rhyme, but I'm going to go with that. And funny enough, or coincidentally enough, May is Mental Health Month. And so I challenge, each of you to please find, some time to cater to finding healthy mental peace, to add into your life. And if you do decide to find a therapist and branch out, I wish you the best of luck. And I am very excited as well as proud of you. And excited for you as you go into your journey of self-discovery. So with that being said, this will conclude today's podcast. But remember, join me next week for another topic. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that we can continue the conversation. And with that, I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.